much for watching my video. My name is Breezy and I am a trauma-informed yoga teacher. Today we are going to talk about raising our self-esteem and gaining the confidence that we truly need to heal ourselves as we embark on this beautiful journey of introspection, healing the mind, the body, and the spirit. Now, if you've suffered from trauma, which most of us have, and especially if your trauma was sexual abuse or sexually oriented, it is so important to understand that this work is really challenging. We have a lot of healing to do, and that is what this entire channel is about. So don't forget to subscribe. So as we talk about gaining our confidence, gaining our self-esteem, one of the things that is important is to understand why this is so crucial to your healing journey. Now, we have many negative narratives that are floating around inside of our minds. Now, most of us who have been a part of toxic relationships, rather romantic or not, we tend to take on other people's perceptions of us, when in fact, it is really their perception of self that they are transferring over to us so that we can take on all of that negative energy. It is so important to understand how to create healthy boundaries, sacred space, and recognize those energy vampires. Now, when we begin to do that work, we begin to trust ourselves, and those negative narratives that are floating around inside of our minds, those negative thoughts start to dissipate. We start to replace those with more positive thoughts, more healthy habits, and we forgive ourselves for whatever it is that we have been carrying on our back and any guilt and shame that we've allowed other people to transfer onto us. Now, again, this is not easy work, but it is so worth it to go from surviving to thriving. And trust me, all that you do to get yourself into this healthy state of mind is going to totally change your life. Now, as we begin to raise our self-esteem and gain more confidence, it is important to realize that most people are not thinking about you. I know that sounds really harsh, but it is actually really comforting because most people are thinking about themselves, and those are just the facts of the matter. So we get more time to think about ourselves, and that is where we should be spending all of our energy. Now, we have to first recognize if we feel safe and secure. Do we feel like we can truly trust ourselves, our environment, maybe even others? And if the answer is closer to no's than yeses, then we need to begin there by doing the work of truly figuring out the why. Where is our disconnect? Now, this could take therapy, this can take yoga, this can take other meditative and mindful practices, and I believe that all of that is important in healing ourselves from the root all the way up. I like to think of myself like a tree, and depending on how rooted I am beneath the earth's surface is how likely I am to withstand all that can take place around me, whether it's wind, rain, tornadoes, or just growing up toward the sun, living my best life. So this is how I like for you to think of yourself. How rooted are you? Do you feel really rooted way beneath the earth's surface? Do you feel really confident and secure in your safety? Now, if the answer is yes, then you can continue to move up. If the answer is no, then you need to stop and start journaling, getting the therapy, getting those healthy practices in your life, and really removing yourself from people in particular who are disconnecting you from that feeling of safety and security. Now, if you feel pretty safe and secure, then the next thing we want to do is we want to lean into our creative sides. We want to awaken all that has been dormant within us, especially if we've been really closed off sexually. Now, this isn't about having sex. This is about recognizing ourselves as these reproductive, reproducing, creative beings. Whether you're creating humans or you're creating Art is all from that idea that we are all creators. And it's important that you ask yourself, are you creating? Are you creating art? Are you creating music? Are you creating something in your life that gives you passion and gives you life? Why is this important? Well, because it awakens the rest of you. When you are leaning into things that you love, things that challenge you, but in a good way, you tend to start to recognize how special you are. We are all special and we all have talents and gifts living within us. I promise you. Sometimes you just have to discover them. I remember I was going through a really horrible breakup, and I discovered during that phase that I really loved sketching. Now, whether I'm great at it or not is in the eye of the beholder, but the truth is being able to freeform sketch completely helped me heal from that breakup. So that is why this entire creative sense of self is so important. This is where we really waken our spiritual sides as well, because we are really creating something that is bigger than self, and we are being vulnerable by putting it out there. So this is a place where you really want to lean into. Now, if you're not being creative and you're not really leaning into having hobbies and you're just working, surviving, you need to totally investigate this, because those of us who are not leaning into this creative side of self, we tend to burn out because life is hard. And when we're also masking our traumas and we're not paying attention to ourselves and we're only giving, and we're not giving back to self, remember, self-care is a full-time job. And even if you're a parent or you're busy in your life and people depend on you, they are not getting the best version of you if you are not leaning in to who you truly are by awakening that creative side of yourself. Now, when you do this, it naturally builds your confidence. It naturally builds your self-esteem, because you realize that you're not only being judged off of how you look or what you do or how you self-identify. You are now being able to see something within self. You are proud of yourself. Pride is really important on the healing journey, because many of us haven't been told that we're important or that we are special or that we matter. And we all matter. Every single one of us, no matter what, we all matter. And I love that entire saying or quote that to the world you might be one person, but to one person you might be the world. Well, why don't you be the world to your younger self, to that former part of yourself that no one looked out for, that no one gave good advice to, that no one made sure was safe or okay. You can do that for that part of yourself. That was something that I really enjoyed doing, and I journaled about it for years, where I would go back and give advice to my younger self based on the wisdoms that I have now. And it was really special, because what I was able to teach myself was that, look how far I've come. You know, we are never, ever finished. And we should always be striving to build. So these are just some really important and overlooked and seems so simple, but is so introspective when we start thinking about our lives in this way. So again, creating healthy boundaries, sacred space, recognizing toxic people who are sucking the life out of us, understanding that we are telling ourselves some of the most negative information that no one else even thinks about us. And that lends to guilt and shame, and we do not deserve to live our lives that way. So I hope that this helps someone think about their lives in an entirely new way. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here with you, and I hope that you feel more confident and you understand that this is so important to healing thyself. Go in peace. Namaste.